At this point, you may have heard the term greenwashing. You may even be well versed in what it means when we're talking about the risk of providing misleading sustainability information or using overstated green labeling. Maybe you've seen recent legislation, either here or abroad, that's aimed at cracking down on companies exaggerating their environmental credentials or their performance. Greenwashing is really now an enforcement priority worldwide, and it's also a likely target for private litigation. But there's also an unintended result of all of this increased attention. Companies who were once vocal about pursuing aggressive climate change and sustainability goals are now beginning to sit more quietly on their progress or lack of towards realizing these goals. And by intentionally turning down the volume on sustainability, they're engaging on something that now has a name: greenhushing. In a 2022 study, a Swiss-based consultancy reported that companies in nearly all sectors are now engaging in greenhushing. In a global survey of 1,400 sustainability executives, the study showed that 58% of companies are either intentionally decreasing their sustainability communications because they're afraid of facing either government or public backlash. So why should your company be concerned about greenhushing? What are the risks of dialing back on corporate environmental communications as a way to avoid greenwashing backlash? Well, for one, simply going silent may not be an option. Multiple international governments, including the EU, have now adopted legislation that requires that certain environmental metrics be reported. In the US, this is currently limited to certain climate change information that's being reported to the SEC by publicly traded companies. But in the EU and international arenas, reporting obligations may even apply to US companies if they do business in the EU or they're traded on international markets. Greenhushing also slows collective progress towards sustainability goals. When companies communicate their environmental wins, they make realistic solutions visible and they encourage others to copy them. Conversely, greenhushing limits the quantity and quality of publicly available information, and it slows the development of new best practices and the expansion of new norms. Greenhushing may also carry its own litigation risk. Shareholders in the US are increasingly using legal avenues, things like requests for injunctive relief or shareholder derivative litigation, and they're using them to force companies to talk openly about their corporate sustainability goals and their documented progress towards meeting these goals. Brand reputation can also be at risk if you're accused of engaging in greenhushing. A company's lack of openness can erode public confidence in its commitment to sustainability. And at the end of the day, people want to do business with and invest with companies they can trust. Transparency about your company's environmental goals and progress towards those goals builds that trust, while also avoiding regulatory and other legal risk. So greenwashing or greenhushing, both ends of the spectrum can have negative repercussions. But now that you're more aware of what both mean, you can help your business to prepare for either.